Hey, it is Friday, November 15th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso, and this is Success Never Sleeps, where we, as a collective, mainly, small martial arts school owners, just trying to figure out this thing called life. You know, um, we just finished It's Time Life Purpose here, and we had 20 school owners out here for 4 days, and it was so intense. It was so intense between personal development, between business, between training, between wealth building. Just what it takes to be successful can often be extremely overwhelming, extremely daunting. But with a plan and consistent disciplined habits, I believe anybody can achieve their version of success. Think about that. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. We have Market Muscles, we have To Saw, we have Kids Love Life Skills, we have LC Accounting, and of course, Kin Creative. Did I mention my studio? All of these are companies I work with. All of these are companies I believe in, right? And like any relationship, nothing is going to be perfect. But you know what's perfect? The belief that I have in these companies, the belief that whatever challenges we face together, we'll figure it out and make it right. I think the challenge with a lot of people, you think, or consumers in general, because it's a transaction, I pay you. And because I pay you, I demand this. No, it's quite the opposite. I pay you because I'm investing in this relationship. So be mindful of that. And that's why I don't use words in our structures like memberships, right? I would never call what we do a membership. It's a tuition investment for your child. We would never use words like coaches. We would use words like teacher, right? Strong words like tuition, words like life skills, learning, educator. Those types of words, are buzzwords that position you as something more than an extracurricular activity for kids. So I want you to be extremely mindful of that. Cool? All right. So, hey, we got our It's Time group mentoring. We're growing, and I'm really proud of it. It's kind of like an offshoot of my wisdom program where it was exclusive with me one-on-one for 6 months. This is month to month. You get to work with my team. You have my influence, and you have my phone number. And people tend to text me a lot, and I'm cool with that. We're just talking about that in the group mentoring. Something as basic as, I'm losing students and I don't know why. Well, let's take a look. I want to do this event, but what's the best way to, event table to present myself in a good way to impact the community? That's what we're here for 24/7, 365. Because you can go to these, big events and buy a program and implement it. But you know what makes a difference? What really moves the needle? The day-to-day decisions. That's what impacts me. Is those day-to-day decisions that sometimes can make or break what I do, right? Just the littlest of things can either push your business forward or derail you completely. And you can't get that when you're at a seminar. It's the everyday, real time. And the comfort you have when you can pick up that phone and text me or Marco or Monique or Jason, and we're there just like you, owning schools, going through the daily grind that you go through, and we can offer you an opinion that's valid and proven and tested. It's monumental. It's monumental. So as you come aboard, say hi. Tell me who you are, where you're tuning in from. Where you're tuning in from. We got Bob Poole going with martial arts. We got Karth. What's happening, Karth? And anyone else who's there, please say hello. So, what's coming up? What's coming up? I don't know. Marco's in there searching for it. You got it, Marco? Give me 5 minutes. I'm on it. It's somewhere there on social media. While Marco gets that, he'll give me a thumbs up. We're talking about one of the presentations I did at It's Time Life Purpose was the things we need to focus, right? Recruiting, retaining our students, renewing our students. Those are the three things. And honestly, if I'm good at recruiting, I'm good at retaining, renewing is simply, a process at that point, right? But when I talk about it, I'm going to kind of work a little backwards. Renewing. How do you renew a relationship? Well, you're just mindful to be in the here and now. I said that to one couple at It's Time Life Purpose. How many times have you kissed your wife, sir? He goes, I don't know, thousands. I said, no, sir. One. Kiss your wife. And he kissed her. And if I teach every class like it's my first class, my only class, then renewing is really easy. You're renewing it. You're making it new again. And that's why the mindset that goes with that is really vital. In our instructor's room, we have a thing that hangs up and it says, treat every student today like it was their first day. Imagine that, how much love we give a brand new student. Give that love to year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, right? And renewing will be easy. Really, it'll be easier. So I want to be mindful of that. Andre Davis. Hey, Andre, what's happening, sir? I've been seeing that you've kind of been following a little more and commenting. Thank you for that, Andre. He is from Mandai San Martial Arts, Portland, Maine. Is a new school in New England that I'm part owner of. Right on. Right on. Congratulations. Anything we can do to support you, please let us know. Let us know. And so let's talk. Let's get into recruitment. And before that, Marco found the slide because I've been getting lots of DMs. They saw all the pictures of the event. Everyone's going, when's the next one? When's the next one? Then when's the next one? It's time live. And this one's going to be called Freedom. We talked a lot about financial freedom. We talked about the freedom that comes with having a great team that executes and delivers, right? We talked about the freedom that comes with true entrepreneurship. That's a shot at the beach we were on, and I just thought it was a really good shot. You know, the freedom I experienced today is something I've worked diligently to get to, and it doesn't happen in a day or a year. You know, that number of 300, when you get to 300 students, that freedom really begins to happen because you can pay somebody well, which allows you the freedom to get off the mat. Cool. So It's Time Live Freedom will be November 8th through 11th. Again, only 20 school owners. That's all we do. And that's why the event sells out all the time. Put it on your calendar. I'm going to release that link in the next 24 hours. I'm encouraging you, sign up. Do make the investment because it always sells out. And if you want to transform your life, if you really want to move that needle, you're not going to do it in Las Vegas with what? Recycled air, walking through casinos filled with smoke, right? There's no focus with lights and all that stuff going on. We get down and dirty. We do it in the school. We do it very Spartan, very simple, very intimately, and it's unlike anything in this industry. Cool. What's up, Monique? Let me say that right. Mandala-san. Mandala. I like a mandala. I get it. I get it. I get it. Very cool. I'll have to look at your website, Andre. So going to recruitment. What is recruitment all about? Okay, this is going to mess you up for a minute, but stay with me, okay? It is not about getting leads. It is not about getting trials. It's not even about getting students. It's about the relationship. Because I know if our attrition rate in the martial arts industry is about 50%, every 2 years, you're going to lose 50% of your students. And we have 500. So that means every 2 years, we're replacing what? 250 of them? Do the math. Divide that by 24, right? What are we talking? At least 10 a month? Some months, it's more, right? So that's a lot. And I don't dwell on it. What we do is when somebody quits, we give them as much love coming in the door as we do going out, right? Thank you postcard, doors wide open. Magical things happen when you do that. You see them in the mall, the family doesn't walk the other way. They'll actually come up to you and say hello. The magic is 10 years later, right? The family comes back and enrolls the kid in our after school program. 4 years later, a girl came back and I looked at her. Is that you, Lavetta? Right? Because we make sure that whether they spend money in our school or not, whether they're a student or not, the relationship is the most important part of what we do. Passionately, the relationship is the most important part of what we do. But that requires you to stop doing things like $19.99, 3 classes, right? That's just a cheap buy. That's why they're buying it. They don't know you. It's just cheap, right? So you want to be mindful of that. I'm all for one complimentary class. I don't even like to say free trial. I don't like the word trial. I think of court. I think of somebody being on trial or we're on trial to see if we're a good fit for you. I do love one complimentary class. Even in the words that you choose can position your business to spark a curiosity, to create an emotional connection where people will come in and actually show up for the one complimentary class. You with me? And in the ads we design with Kin Creative, even the scripts that I write, it's all about storytelling, right? Tell the right story, you create that raving fan of your business and what you do. Jason, anybody else aboard? Say hello. Tell me who you are, where you're tuning in from. So if you can forego all those things and you're thinking more about the relationship, then the things that you do to recruit students isn't really about recruiting, is it? It's about planting seeds for a potential relationship down the road. Down the road. And we talked about that today. Prime example. One of our kickboxers said to me, right, would you sponsor me for this cancer marathon? We said, absolutely. Her and her husband have been doing kickboxing for 10 years. Her son is a first-degree black belt. They host a kickboxing party at their home every year. We love these people. I will happily, sponsor you for this cancer marathon. You with me? So if you look for relationships like that from day one, the potential for a long-term investment will be yours. That's why when you do these booths and I see them, right? 6 months, $99. Tons of people might buy it, but if I don't show up, what's $69? And who in the hell is going to charge $69 for 6 months? Because their goal is they will upgrade you in month 1, month 2, month 3. And then it becomes this sales fest for 6 months, hoping you convert sooner than later. Nobody wants to do 6 months at $69. I get it. But again, that impulse buy, it's cheap and it's convenient, is not a relationship. Imagine going to somebody you want to date, right? For the single people out there. And you tell them, I date you because you're cheap and you're conveniently located near me. That's not a relationship you can build anything upon. So again, I understand it. I understand that. You're trying to make rent, you're trying to pay bills, right? Especially with a new school like Andre, right? And that's why I'm not big on contracts. Because Andre, you're going to come into the community brand new, potentially. I don't know all the details, but let's just say you're opening a brand new business in a community. They don't know you. They don't have any history with you. They don't know if you're going to be there a year from now. And you're asking for a 1-year contract or a 6-month contract. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, right? You just moved into the neighborhood. We go out on 1 date or even 2 weeks of dating. Then you say, was that cool? Yeah, it was cool. Okay. Now you have to sign a contract to date me for a year. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. And it's not something we advocate for. So think about that, right? So I want low barrier of entry. 1 complimentary class will always do really well in recruiting. I want to tell a consistent story because consistency breeds trust, right? Breeds trust. This happened to us the other night. I'm going to tell you what happened. Now, fortunately, this was a year 4 student. They showed up to a class. There was no longer a black belt class there. And the mom was not happy. She goes, well, we couldn't come Saturday because my daughter had ballet. And, we just assumed that there was still a black belt class on Thursday. And we said, well, we're sorry. There hasn't been a black belt class there for 2 months. But she hasn't had to not show up on Saturday. This was a one-off thing, right? So, and they're good people. They've been there 4 years. So what did I promptly do? I pulled one of the staff members off the after school, had her work with this boy for 45 minutes in the next class. That's the relationship. And because it was only 15 minutes left of after school, I went back there and did the after school. You with me? And I just happened to be there, right? It was the day after its time, and I just happened to be there. So those are the types of things where the relationship is more important. You could have simply said, sorry, no class, come back another day, right? You've been here 4 years. You're not going anywhere. No. Principles before personalities. So again, as you see, everything I'm talking about when it comes to recruiting, new members is really about creating the value of a potential relationship. You with me? Thus, the cotton candy machines, right? Cotton candy machines. We got a cotton candy machine because 1, PE teacher of the day, every school is in line to do that. Confidence building workshops. When I opened a new school, everybody, well, we've been having the same martial arts school for 20 years. Can we have an opportunity to just so none of that was a pathway for us. So I said, what do people like? Honestly, I was at the fair with my kids. The longest line was the cotton candy line. Ding, ding, ding. Bought a cotton candy machine. We do it at Little League openers. We do it at movie night in the park. We do it at back to school night. We do it for Halloween in front of our home. We, just on and on and on. The opportunities to provide a community event with free cotton candy are abundant. Demo team, not so much. You with me? So we go out and do it. Of course, we don't wear our uniforms. We wear one martial arts t-shirt and a big sign says cotton candy, courtesy of one martial arts. There are QR codes on everything for after school, day camp, birthday parties, and classes. So we do present ourselves, but it's subliminal marketing. Think about that for a moment, right? Maybe I'm in Wisconsin and everybody likes cheese curds. So all of a sudden, I'm giving out free cheese curds, whatever the case may be. Know your avatar, know your demographic, understand how they behave, where they eat, where they play, where they shop. And that's really where you should be hyper-focused. You with me? And I watch that all the time, right? People are advertising in the wrong places in the wrong way. Follow me. In the wrong places in the wrong way. So let's say you're kid-centric. Put in the comments some of the places we should have a presence. Go. Right? If you're kid-centric, where are some of the places we should be? While you put it in the comments, I'll share some. Summertime, parks, Sunday brunch, anywhere between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Majority of families with small children will be in a park. In a park. So how do you make that happen, right? Without getting a permit to be in that park. So easy. Dress somebody up as Kung Fu Panda, get some balloons, get some bubble guns, get some fruit snacks, staple them to your call to action card, right? With a QR code for a free class, talking, put a testimonial, very simple, and get a boom box. Walk in there. It's like Disneyland. They see this coming from a mile away. Music playing. Everything is awesome, right? Kids music, whatever's the latest. You're walking into the park. Bubbles are blowing. Kung Fu Panda's dancing. You got balloons, right? They take pictures with the Kung Fu Panda. They high five him. You give every kid a fruit snack with your CTA on it. Everybody's in one martial arts gear. You're in and out in 20 minutes. Go do it at another park. Go do it at another park. Do it at another park. You with me? The busiest part of downtown Millbrae. We've put kids in our t-shirts with Kung Fu Panda. Nobody says no to a kid. They're walking up and down Broadway because, again, they're not planning themselves for any great period of time. They don't need a permit. They're just walking up and down Broadway, handing out call to actions to any families that they see. You with me? So, the potential's there. You just have to really, really open your mind. PTA number one. Number one, sir. So let's talk about those PTA meetings. Andre, you're paying rent either way. You're paying rent on that building that you're in. Go to the PTA and say, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a space over here to conduct your PTA meeting. And while that happens, so more parents can come to this PTA meeting, we will watch the kids on the mat and we will do life skills building games. And we'll play dodgeball with them and they'll break boards. Right? In our case, they earn our real cool merit badges from Kids Love Life Skills that say focus, discipline, confidence. And you know what? We'll go a step further. We'll supply pizza and juice. You with me? Another one that we do is the kindergarten meet and greet. Because when my kids went to kindergarten, they know nobody. Nobody. They know nobody. So during the summer, you come into our school, all the kindergarten families meet each other. We do games. Again, the whole 9 yards with the PTA. Getting in with the PTA is monumental. But you can't just sit there and put a hand out and say, hi, can we, put something in your PTA email to all the students? No way. You have to build a relationship. It's like, you don't kiss somebody on the first date, right? Right? Think about that. See, all this is things that are obvious when you talk about everyday relationships that you have of value. But when it comes to approaching a PTA, we approach it like this sales-driven business. Don't do that. Don't do that. Another thing you can do with the PTA, they always need manpower. So why not donate your physical time, right, to do like an e-waste project? They normally do it on a Sunday, and I've done it with them. I'm standing out there in a one martial arts hoodie. My wife has done it, and we're standing shoulder to shoulder with PTA presidents of all the elementary schools. We're standing with somebody who's on the school board, Andre, and we're just hanging out, man, being people, taking monitors out of the back of people's cars and things of that nature, right? Those opportunities. But the challenge is all you're fixated on, what is my ROI? What's my return on investment? Right? And Gary Vee says it so well. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. I think e-waste is a great one. No, a great one. No, a great one. So I want you to think about those different opportunities that go beyond PE teacher of the day, demo team, right? Things like that. And most importantly, table the freaking ROI. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And if you're a business in the community that cares, the business in the community that understands they support you by bringing their kids to you, then you reciprocate in kind. You with me? So, of course, recruitment's referral system. We upped our game to $50. So if you refer a student to us, we'll give you $50 off next month's tuition. Make it a streamlined system, so easy to monitor, so easy to track. You can do that in the CRM system of My Studio. We put it up on the TV. We put it on signage in the school. We announce it in the classes, and we'll keep dripping that out every month. It should go in an email when a student signs up. Maybe the third email when they're a regular member, they get a "Did you know?" automated email that says, if you enjoy what you're experiencing here at One Martial Arts and you refer somebody, you will get a $50 credit off next month's tuition. There's another way, right? Because we know word of mouth referrals are still always going to be the best way for us to get new students. With all the digital media and everything in this world, word of mouth is still the best way. Not the only way, because if you're going to recruit people, you can't think of marketing one way to 70 people. You market 70 ways to 70 people. You with me? So I want to be extremely mindful of that. Vedant. What a cool name. Vedant. Vedant. Where are you from, Vedant? Tell us your school, the name of your school, when you're tuning in from. So all does that make good sense, Andre? And then the bottom line, right? You may have days that aren't filled. Please, Andre, offer beginning classes as many days a week as possible. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. I don't know if your schedule fits me yet. That's why the first thing parents want, what is your schedule? What are your prices? And how can I try it out? And if you say, well, we only do, complimentary class on Saturday at freaking 6:30 p.m. at night, no way. Have as many beginner classes as you possibly can just to give them the opportunity to come in and try a class. Super, super important with that. All right. That's one of the obstacles you want to remove. Does it fit my schedule? Now, when we opened our location, the bottom line is Friday nights were pretty dead. We went to the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and said, we want to offer a complimentary confidence building workshop every Friday from this time to this time. We want to fill it with troop number 85, troop number 86, 87. We were averaging maybe 10, 12 kids. But I was cool with that. You know why? You walk by our school on a Friday night, there's people in it. It's kind of like a restaurant, Andre. If I go to your restaurant and ain't nobody eating in there, I'm going to be a little leery that the food's good. So we wanted to make sure it was packed. We even went to our kids' kindergarten class and gave everybody a free birthday party. Just bring the pizza, bring the cake, right? And allow us to collect waivers because they can't get on the mat. And then we started building our email list. Either way, I'm paying rent. So I want that school occupied. You with me? You with me? I'm ambitious enough but lazy in the effort. How do you deal with it when I know something? Let me read that. Can you put that up, Marco? It's too small on the side there because it's a little long. How do I deal with it when I know something I'm passionate about, but it's just so hard it seems out of bounds, leading to a change? Well, procrastination is one of the, human traits, right? The 7 deadly sins, right? Being lazy. So we had when we did our personal development at It's Time, I'll go off on a little tangent because the fact that you're sharing your question, it's important to me. And you have to love the parts of you don't like. If you're ever going to change them or heal them, Vedant, you're never going to do that if they live in shame and guilt, right? So let's take something basic as being lazy. I'm a lazy person. Well, what's good about that? Well, when it's time for downtime, I relax better than anybody else. Okay, but the yin to the yang. There is a time to be lazy, and there's a time to work, to grind. And that yin yang for me, which is big in the martial arts, creates that balance. But until I acknowledge that this habit of procrastination, in your case, is mine to own, this habit of procrastination can be harnessed in a positive way, right? If I think about procrastination, I just think things thoroughly through. But at some point, I know if I don't take action, then that procrastination becomes a hindrance on my path to success. But anything I don't like about myself, I heal with love. And I'm very mindful, with something like procrastination, that a certain amount of it is good. So I think something through before I spend money. I think something through before I make a decision. A certain amount of that is really, really good, Vedant. But there's that tipping point where it becomes unhealthy and dysfunctional. You with me? And honestly, we had a breakthrough at its time. It was so beautiful. This woman out of nowhere, I'm sick and tired. And she was just, whoa. She was just like, whoa. And she was on our group mentoring call today. And those breakthroughs, when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, then and only then do you start making the real changes. Like Dave Kovar said, and I'll share it one more time because you probably weren't here yet. Most people do 1 year of life. Then they simply repeat that year without any changes or anything for the next 40 years. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. Cool? All right. So let me stay on task with this. And maybe, Marco, you can reach out to Vedant and see what that looks like. Okay? All right. So with that said, recruitment is so valuable. And, we have the Boy Scout, Girl Scouts. You could do the birthday parties. And honestly, we didn't charge. We just wanted that school filled, Andre. That was important to us. So, and then, of course, the community events and in-house events. You do the buddy day, bring a friend. You do the parents' night out, bring a friend, things like that. As long as you're collecting an email, as long as you're collecting that information, then you can nurture that lead, as we say, with the responsible emails, not bombarding the crap out of them where they say, please stop emailing me. I do that all the time with these guys from Pakistan that are trying to sell me uniforms and stuff. They will hit us up at Facebook and just bah, 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 like freaking machine gun. And we just simply say, please stop messaging us. Because we don't want to just block them. We want to let them know that we don't need their service. We want to be polite. That's important, right? Okay. Everything, Vedant, is easier said than done. Because if I wanted easy, I'd go work for somebody that told me what to do. I would be a worker bee and have someone tell me what to do for 45 years and get a gold watch and pension and go, what happened to my life? Being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur is not easy, but the results can be phenomenal. They can be. And for me in small business, most of the people I work with, the biggest challenge is the owner. The owner suffers from a fixed mindset. The owner lives from a victim mindset, right? And they have a million excuses as to why they're not successful versus only one reason to make a change in their thinking and their habits to be successful. Cool? All right, let's go to retention. Now, with retention, number one, teach amazing classes. That's a no-brainer. Always improve your curriculum, review it, make it better, make it better, make it better. Have a killer team, train them well, create a company people want to work for, so that you have instructors that are with you as a career, treat it as a career, as a lifestyle. As I say, treat every student today like it's their first day. If I want to retain somebody, give them as much love on day one as I do on year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, right down the line. And for me, that's super important. For me, it's just vital. And I believe if I'm constantly investing in the relationship, then retention organically begins to manifest itself. Happened again last night. I finished the team sparring class because I teach on Thursdays. The same two families hung out in the after school room, right? Which I could see into from the floor as we taught kickboxing. They stayed there for 30 minutes as the two moms just chilled and talked. Mi casa, su casa, right? That's retention. I'm going to say, no, you must go home. Absolutely not. The more you hang out in my business, the more you trust us, the more you feel safe, the more you feel supported. And those are the key words, that I hear a lot that parents want. They want to feel safe, they want to feel supported, and they want to feel that they're included. That's important, right? So, are your classes inclusive? Are your classes safe? Are your classes supported? If you offer all those different things, people will tend to want to be part of something special. And if you create that something special, retention becomes secondary. It really, really does. It really does. And then once a year, we will offer 1 year paid in full at the current rate before we raise tuition in January. That's kind of built in for our long-term students, but I'm not big on paid in fulls because you get money for 12 months. You got to spread it out over 12 months. And that's the problem. People take that money and they spend it. Then they're sitting there hurting 6 months down the line. Be mindful of that. We are a cash-based business. Money in, money out. I bring in 30 grand that month. My bills better be about 20. So I'm profiting, right? You don't want these inflated months of income or debt. Either one, right? I want to keep my expenses consistent. I want to keep my income consistent because you know your debt's going to do this. Rent goes up, property insurance goes up, business insurance, on and on. Well, guess what? You want your tuition to go in kind, but you don't want to have this huge spike in expenses while your income is still doing this. You with me? So be very, very mindful. What's up, Tish from LC Accounting? If you need a great bookkeeper, talk to my sister, Letitia. But somebody said that, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. All these ideas I'm offering for recruitment, all these ideas I'm offering you for retention mean zero if you suffer from an impoverished mindset. I live from a growth mindset. I live from a learning mindset. And from that growth and learning, I happily take action. I love taking action because I know doing something is better than doing nothing. The goal is taking the right action. And only through learning and application do we understand what is the right learning for us to take action on. But it's on you, nobody else. And I love that ownership that comes with being a small business owner. I'm not a victim of anything. I don't blame anybody. 90% of what goes wrong in my business, my fault. The other 10 that goes wrong in my business, my fault. All day, every day. And that way, in the book, The Four Agreements, he talked about it. Don't take anything personal. Don't take it personal. If somebody does you wrong or somebody quits or any of that, so don't take it personal. That's their life, not yours. It's their business, not yours. Cool? All right. So what else can we do with retention? We do in-house retention events. We just finished a Halloween party. We have a holiday party coming up. We do a mom and me party. We do a dad and me party. We do a family fun day. We do an Easter party. We do a Valentine's Day parents' night out. We charge nothing for those. They're all retention events. You with me? Retention events. This Christmas, I want to try to budget to give everybody a t-shirt. One t-shirt, right? Best form of marketing you could possibly have. People will wear it in the community and the band played on, right? So again, I know the heart and soul of my business lives in the existing members that are in there because they'll go out and tell other people. You create raving fans in your business, they will go out there and tell other people, and so on and so on and so on. You with me? I'm very, 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 no, very, very passionate about that practice. Take care of the people in my school, they'll refer us to other people, right? That's why when somebody quits, I don't get all upset. I step on that mat and teach the best class ever. Ever, no, ever, 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 ever. And I'm extremely mindful of that again. And I want you to be as well. Because if you don't teach amazing classes, you don't have an amazing team, you don't create that amazing experience, you will not retain your students. I'm already dealing with, the fact that the industry standard is about 50% attrition rate in 2 years. You're going to lose half your students in a 2-year period. So you got to replace them. And that's where recruitment was big. Cool? And then like I share, and I'm forever passionate about this, if I have good recruitment systems, I have good retention systems, guess what? Renewing them is really simple. And in our case, we're month to month anyways, right? It's all done through an app. So there is no renewing. You will get charged month in and month out until you quit. So again, if you hyper-focus on recruitment, you hyper-focus on retention, then organically most months you'll reduce your attrition. Cool? All right. I want to ask questions, man. I talk a lot, but I want your questions. Give me some questions. What is it that you want to know? Come on, give me some questions. I know that's a lot to grab there, right, Andre? Yep. Yep, yep, yep. And there's so many opportunities. With the reader of the day one that we do. I don't know if I mentioned this one, but we do that reader of the day, Andre. I have that book, The Adventures of Brian Tay, and Jason Smith does it so well. He goes in there and he reads. He donates a copy of the book to the library. He even went so far as giving every kid in the class a copy of that book. And of course, his call to action is on a sticker on the book. But imagine that impact of a kindergartner going home with a book that talks about focus, right? That promotes the culture of a martial arts school organically through this book. And then there's stickers on the back. Thank you for letting us be reader of the day. Boom. Right? So there's many ways to do that. I think the biggest thing, like anything, is understanding your avatar, Andre. Who's your avatar? Right? Who's your avatar? With the community draw and events, we're focused on adults. Okay. What kind of events have you seen focused on them? Well, if you're an adult audience, predominantly, I would assume you're a BJJ or in an MMA school, correct? Go ahead and verify that first for me, Andre. Are you a BJJ school or MMA? Because in the industry, the data is showing that the majority of schools that cater to adults are either Krav Maga, Muay Thai kickboxing, BJJ, or MMA. Are you with me? So go ahead and put that in there for me. But I'll start in on that. So I think knowing where the adult market lives, eats, drinks, behaves, right? Who are they? And then understanding what they need, Andre, with the adult market. Number one, safety. They need to be safe. You got some lawyer and he's getting busted up and he's got to walk into the courtroom with a bruise on his face. All around, we're non-specific, which is a challenge in yeah. You've got to be, there was a time when Karate Kid was really big, right? When the first Karate Kid movie came out, everybody, whether they were Taekwondo, Judo, Kung Fu, it didn't matter. They all said karate school. All of them said karate school. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, when you say it's a concept we're passionate on, it's cool. There was a time some guy stood there named Horowitz and said, "We're going to sell you ventes and lattes and macchiatos and call it Starbucks." People looked at this guy like he was freaking nuts, 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 because nobody was drinking coffee at that time, right? But he saw the vision, and look at Starbucks today. So really, whatever concept you're passionate about, it's a matter of packaging it properly, Andre, and communicating it to the community that you cater to. So if your demographic is adults, no matter what it is, we need to understand what adults need. Okay? So at the minimum, I would call it martial arts, period. Right? Because nowadays, when people search, the most searched word is the word martial arts. It is. It is. So I think with the advent of not ultimate fighting, right, but mixed martial arts, it's very relevant. If what you do is a hybrid system of a mix of stuff, you could call it mixed martial arts. But with that comes the stereotype of UFC. With that comes the stereotype of a bunch of, muscle heads in a room beating up on each other, right? So it kind of works against you too. But at the minimum, I would say something martial arts. Maybe not mixed, but something martial arts. Like we're one martial arts. And everybody that brands with me, it'll be focus martial arts, believe martial arts, right? In most cases, because it's the most searched word on the internet. Plus, it's all encompassing. I would just be very mindful. if you put MMA, because then you're looking at a certain demographic, 18 to 35 years old, right? They know they're coming into a gym and they get ready to roll, right? They get that. But again, if I understand adults want safe, then every piece of social media, at my website, in my Facebook ads, I would be promoting that we are a safe and supportive and inclusive environment. Super important, because adults want to feel that, and I did an ad recently where I wrote that, right? That dads get lost, right? Rediscover yourself again. Because I'm a dad, and it's very easy to be a dad and be a paycheck and cater to the kids, and you lose yourself. So I don't have it word for word in front of me, Andre, but I talked about that. That was one demographic. Do you want to get rid of the dad bod, right? You can be a dad without the dad bod was another one. And we have a supportive environment that's going to help you achieve your fitness goals to get back to your truer self, right? It's a story, man, and it's really cool. So, I mean, you could think about that one as well. You can think about that as well. But again, that's what comes with that audience. I don't want an 18 to 35-year-old kid, adult male in my school, because for the most part, they don't have disposable income. For the most part, they're not settled into their career or their life yet. Or the guy that thinks he's a wannabe UFC fighter who's going to come in and have these grandiose dreams. They're going to be a UFC guy and they're going to bust up your new students. I've seen that happen again and again. Dude, you're not a UFC fighter. You're not in the octagon. We're training here. Chill out, train, right? But they have this magical, dialogue going on in their brain, that they're going to be the next Conor McGregor, right? So again, you can do anything you want, Andre, anything you want, and be extremely profitable. You just have to make sure that you're not famous in your own mind, for the lack of a better statement, right? And if you're sitting there with 10 students year in and year out, decade after decade, there's something fundamentally challenging about your curriculum, your delivery, your execution, all of it, all of it, all of it. But going back to the Starbucks guy, you could tell people anything you want. Just think how many years ago BJJ wasn't even on the map. Look at it today, right? Look at it today. So the potential to do whatever you want is there. But I think the big thing in succeeding in business, Andre, is identifying the need, or as they say, the pain point. What is their pain point? What is their need? And you positioning and earning the trust that you are the service that can fulfill that need. Yeah, right? That's some good stuff. But it requires you to really think, do some storytelling to get down to the heart and soul of that. All right? All right. Any other questions? So I'm going to start wrapping this up. We might end a little early today, Marco. That'd be a first, huh? That could be a first. So if everything you do in your business fundamentally centers around recruiting, retaining, and renewing students, I don't see how you're going to go wrong. But again, the understanding of who's the demographic you cater to, understanding how to speak to them, understanding how to serve them is really the bigger task. Because you can do some killer Facebook marketing, Instagram stuff, and get a lot of people through the door. But if your trial isn't on par and you're not converting, who cares? Right? You get 50 people in there on trials and only 2 convert because the first night you're choking them out and beating them up. It doesn't cut it. Right? It doesn't cut it. So again, people use that term watered down. And I think that's a very defeatist mentality. I would like to say we meet you where you're at. Michael J. Fox said it so poignantly. If a student doesn't learn the way you teach, then teach the way they learn, right? And that's a rough one because most schools are centered around the ego of an instructor. And there's who tells you what to do in small business? Nobody. So you could run that damn business to the ground. Or even worse, and I've seen this too, and I was a victim of this because I did it. You create this shrine to yourself, right? You create this controlled environment that caters to your ego, and your vision and your mindset gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? I'm not selling this to me. I'm selling this to the community in a 3 to 5 mile radius. And when I limit it to that is not the way we do it, if I limit it to, well, I don't do it that way, well, you're not the one teaching martial arts to you, right? You're teaching it to a certain demographic. And again, I think it's a great educator that understands how to reach their students. You with me? Right? You with me on that? And for me, that's just something I've always felt passionate about because I witness people year in and year out do the first year 40 times. 40 years later, they still have a mediocre school as far as profitability goes, right? But I have good students. Great. Get a day job. No problem. Get a day job so you have medical insurance, pension, all that, and a steady income, and teach for the art. That's totally fine. I had some kid in last night, and he said to, because he was a friend of one of my black belts, he goes, yeah, I tell him he needs to grapple more. I said, I understand that, but we're a stand-up school. And I said, do you do BJJ? He goes, yeah, I've done BJJ. I said, when you go to your BJJ class, are you allowed to strike somebody, kick them and punch them? He goes, well, no. I said, why? He says, that's not good etiquette. Well, same thing here. We're a stand-up school, so we don't grapple. And that's just what we do. It's like putting a football player on a basketball court. They're both athletics and sports. But if that football player hit that basketball player and tackled him in the middle of a basketball game, that's a bad day, right? So I think it's important to know that too. What is it you want to do? Because you can't be everything to everybody, right? But you can be something special to a certain demographic. You can. You can. But if they don't understand who you are, they don't understand what it is you offer, right? Then they'll never trust you. Never, 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 ever. And just like the boy who showed up to the wrong class, we made sure that we fixed it, right? We simply want to make things right. Make things right. And we took care of that boy that night. So again, we continue to invest in that relationship, even after how many years? And they were very, very happy with that. You see? You see? So I think it's the mindset more than anything. It really is. And going back to Vedant's comments, that's what it's about. If you're lazy, if you'd rather give in to laziness and you suffer from procrastination and you do nothing to change that, then again, we're a victim of our mindset. And when it comes to running a small business, I know I procrastinate. I'm lazy. I get stuck. I have analysis paralysis, but I recognize it's not going to serve me in being a better teacher, designing better curriculum, being a better level 5 leader, right? And impacting the communities we want to serve. You with me? All right. So any other questions? We start packing this one up. I know it's heavy today, but I understand when it comes to recruiting, retaining, and renewing my students, it's not as simple as running a Facebook ad. It's not as simple as doing a refocus meeting with the parents and the kid. It's not as simple as that. It's a very complex environment, and you are the conductor of that environment, like a good conductor, and you orchestrate on a daily basis, what it is that needs to happen in your business to be relevant and to be successful. Because the bottom line is, if you don't make money at what you do, it's not a business. It's a hobby, and that's okay. Just make that decision. This is my version of success. I'm going to work a day job. I'm going to teach strictly the way I want. That's okay. Because I hear that too from a lot of school owners, that I don't care about the money. It's my art. Rock and roll, baby. It's not for me to say. I don't live your life. I don't pay your rent. I don't feed your kids, right? That's your version of success. Do you, baby, as one would say. Yeah, thank you, Garth. It is a 24/7 task. It really, really is. And, I had to clean up over the past couple of days from It's Time Live Purpose, and the school's back in order because I don't want to leave remnants of the event that we did, lingering for days and days and days. I updated the TV and added our Thanksgiving schedule so people know when we're closed, on and on. It doesn't stop, right? That's why you hear sayings like success never sleeps. I work the 80s, so I don't have to do 40. I get it. I'm a third generation small business owner. I'm not a victim of that. It was my choice. I could have chose to get a day job. Absolutely. This is my choice. And I take the good with the bad. I take the shortcomings as well as the definite joys that come with it. And I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. Cool. Any other comments? Any takeaways today? Put them in the comments. While you start doing that, let's talk it up, Marco. The It's Time group mentoring. We're having a lot of fun. We designed it. It was an offshoot of my wisdom program, my executive mentoring program, which is very costly. This is more affordable for the average school owner, and you get great talent with Marco and Monique and Jason and me and us serving you, because it's the day-to-day grind that people need more help on. As I shared, you go to one of these events, you get information, you go back to your school, and then you do nothing with it. You know why? Because it's the day-to-day grind, the day-to-day questions, the day-to-day challenges that either make or break your business. So you want somebody you can text, call, speak to, at least a sounding board to help you make the best choices to grow your business. Cool? So think about our It's Time group mentoring. Marco, put the link in there. And then, of course, like I shared, It's Time Live. This next one coming up is going to be called Freedom. We talked a lot about financial freedom. We talked about freedom of time. We talked about the freedom to create and cultivate, curriculum and a brand and that type of things that I know are phenomenal. And each one is themed differently. The one we just finished was purpose. So this next one, again, only 20 school owners, only 20 school owners. You should be planning 2025 right now. And one of the things that should be on your calendar is It's Time Live Freedom. As soon as I drop the link, and I'm going to do that in the next 24 hours, sign up, make the investment now, because as always, it sells out. But the experience you will have in 4 days is unlike anything. And if it doesn't transform your life, I don't know what will. Cool? Cool. Let's thank our sponsors, Marco. Let's get in and thank them all. Thank them all. Who do we have? Tusaw, simply the best in equipment. They're one of our sponsors of everything that we do. We have Market Muscles. We use their website. We love their website. I love Stephen Reinstein as a person. My studio, Tule and the gang. When you talk about technology, there's always going to be bugs. There's always going to be updates. There's always going to be things that don't work. And I am challenged when I hear the banter go back and forth. Well, my studio doesn't do this and it should do that. I'm going, how many updates do you get on your phone every week? Lots. How often are there glitches on the internet in your home? Lots. How often does your bank do something wrong? Right? It's tech. It's not perfect, but I don't know why people think it should be this end-all, be-all, holy grail. It's one of the moving parts in our school. But I believe my studio does it better than most. Better than most. And I say that with a sense of love and true clarity and authenticity, because you will have challenges. You will. That's just the way it goes. Kids love life skills. When I had a conversation with ChatGPT about what is it parents look for, number one, they want a physical activity, but more than that, they want a physical activity rich in life skills learning. If you don't have a strong life skills component in your school, I'm going to say it's going to be challenging. No one's going to a soccer coach saying, teach my kid focus. They will demand it from a martial arts school. And if it's a random thing that you do, then it's random results you're going to get. You with me? So think about Kids Love Life Skills. LC Accounting, of course. My sister, Letitia, I love you. As always, she was here. She backed me up. I get to see her in a couple of weeks for Thanksgiving. Our daughters got to hang out and bond as cousins. And if you're looking for a great bookkeeper, talk to her. Kin Creative. I call them boys, but they're, in their 20s, just killer group of kids. And to work with them at Kin Creative and design storytelling ads and not this freaking ChatGPT generated copy, stock photos, that does not tell anybody's story. It's generic. There's no freaking input into that. It's lazy. And if that's what you think your brand is worth, a stock photo, then you go for it. But what we do at Kin Creative for me is more than running an ad. We're your family and we tell a story that's going to impact your business in a way for a long, long time. Cool? All right. This has been an amazing show. As you see, I'm still flying on the high of what comes with doing the 4-day experience. One of my biggest highlights, and I posted a reel, and this is who we are, though. right? And this is who I am. And people say that all the time. Who you are, on Facebook and the internet and the videos is the same person. Yeah, I am. I think understanding who I am without narrowing my mind and being filled with ego and narcissism and insecurity allows me to go deeper on my vision and my purpose and really nurture that in a loving, healthy way. I want to be a better version of me every day. I will never do that copying Tony Robbins or copying Grant Cardone or assimilating their thinking. Absolutely not. But I am a reader. I read a lot of things. But ultimately, I have to do Brannon. And if I can do Brannon and be profitable and successful in that process, then maybe I can inspire other people to do the same. You with me? You with me? I hope so. So, coming off that 4-day experience, one of the greatest moments was guy needed to come. His sister couldn't come. They run the business together, right? So he asked, could he bring his wife? I said, sure. Then he said, we have to bring our 7-month-old daughter. We have nobody to babysit her. And all I replied was, we are family. And over the 4 days, my sister, me, my wife, everybody helped care for this little baby, right? So that they could really enjoy the learning offered at It's Time Life Purpose, because that is our purpose. Whether it's Time Group Mentoring, whether it's Kin Creative, whether it's LC Accounting, whether it's Kids Love Life Skills, we're about family. And we live it. We walk our talk. And I think that's the difference in our schools. Because no Facebook ad, no website, no piece of gear is ever going to replace the humanism, the connectivity of people caring about other people. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my podcast, Success Never Sleeps, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, all the major platforms. Please follow me at Instagram. Join our disruptor group. That's a really, really good thing. For everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, please, you go out there, live your best life.